Brainerd's existence would never be without trains. During the 19th century, the Northern Pacific Railroad built its headquarters in Brainerd. Hannah Tran has more on the beginnings of Brainerd as a significant stop in our community spotlight.
The city of Brainerd's destiny came from a railroad map. Brainerd was just another piece of wilderness before the Northern Pacific Railroad picked it as headquarters in the early 1870s.
Brainerd is very much shaped by the railroad, and it's I think the railroad is an important part of the background.
The Railroad Roundhouse Symposium at the one-of-its-kind Northern Pacific Center in Brainerd enlightened locals on Brainerd's origins.
Railroad got here, Brainerd was nothing. Population grew drastically with the arrival of the railroads in Brainerd.
Brainerd's name came from Northern Pacific's president J. Gregory Smith, who was on an expedition to create a route that connected the towns of Carleton and Duluth to the west in 1869.
Anything that's between here and Duluth and Moorhead was a seed that was planted by the Northern Pacific.
Eventually, the Northern Pacific had to cross the Mississippi River. Brainerd exists in this location because this was the chosen point for crossover.
Brainerd was chosen as the site where the Northern Pacific would cross the Mississippi River.
In 1871, construction for a railroad center began. Just a few years after, Brainerd was organized into a city. Northern Pacific's original headquarters brought shops, services, and jobs into the area.
Economic development, it linked Brainerd with Duluth and started the movement out west.
This large facility in Brainerd began an industry that brought 650 men by 1899. This first manufacturing establishment stands today.
All these towns and villages, cities, if you will, owed their existence to the early arrival of the Northern Pacific.
Within Brainerd sits one of Minnesota's largest relics of the train era. It's one of the few reminders that many cities throughout Minnesota point their existence to the tracks of trains. Hannah Tran, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.